Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about why you are feeling stuck, why you feel like you can't get started on all the projects that you have set out for yourself, all the ideas you have in your mind, all that passion that you have that's bubbling up inside of you, and just how to kind of nudge you forward. I'm going to help you identify 3.5 obstacles holding you back from starting. Let's get right into it. Let's start with number one. I think this one is huge, and I actually want to make a whole video just about this, specifically for people who are having trouble identifying their purpose. So the idea is that you're not committed, right? That's the issue. You are not committed, and that's why you're not starting all these projects, all these things that you say you want to do. And now the solution for that is, and I didn't know until recently that it actually has a phrase. It's something that I started doing on my own, but it's called the commitment device. And now let me tell you how it played out for me. So I won't give my whole spiel. If you stick around, you'll hear it over time, but I was someone who in my early 20s, I really wanted to find my purpose. I didn't want to be one of these people that just had a job and that just worked for a corporation and, was just another cog in the machine. I very much wanted to find my purpose, and I spent a lot of time looking outside of myself when really the answer was inside. But found the purpose, didn't get started on it. Why? Because I had built up so much momentum behind looking for the purpose, seeking my purpose, that when I actually found it, I just kept going. Again, because I built up that habit. That's a whole other topic. But the point is that when my purpose was revealed to me again, it was through a near-death experience. And it was that time where I was like, fuck this. I'm not wasting any more time. This is my purpose. It has been revealed to me 2 times already. I'm getting to work. And so one of those things that I started doing that would help me get to work is this so-called commitment device. And the way it played out for me was in moving toward minimalism. I felt like I had too many things in my apartment that I had to look after and that I had to clean that were taking up one of my days a week that I could be spending actualizing my purpose, which, if you don't know, is storytelling, is writing. Another way it played out with the same minimalism concept is that I started minimizing my clothing. If you don't know me, I've gone through all the trends, all the styles. I've spent a lot of time, a lot of money shopping. And I said, I can't do that anymore. That is keeping me back from, again, working on my craft as a storyteller. So for me, the commitment device looks like minimalism. It looks like, and specifically when it comes to clothing, for instance, I kept telling myself, I need a uniform. I need something that I put on every day. I'm not thinking about it, and I just get to work. You can think of Steve Jobs. You can think of Anna Wintour, chief editor of Vogue, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people. I guess, I don't even want to use this as an example, but I guess of fucking Mark Zuckerberg. You can see they always wear the same thing. They're not trying to be models. They're not trying to put a lot of time and energy into their clothing. They're trying to put time and energy into building whatever it is that they're building, be it Facebook or Vogue or Apple. So think of a commitment device. Think of something that you can essentially eliminate. You want to eliminate friction between you and the starting point, right? Because if you're so passionate about this thing, once you get in the flow of it, you're probably like in the flow. You're probably like, wow, this is the feeling that I like to feel. But there's a little friction between you thinking about doing the thing and you actually doing the thing. And so you have to eliminate that friction. What is it? For me, it was spending too much time getting dressed, picking out my outfits. It was spending too much time cleaning my apartment on my days off, which I don't know about you, but we don't all have that many days off to be spending one whole day cleaning our apartment. So maybe it's time to get rid of some shit, okay? So that's solution number one. Create a commitment device. And now to create a commitment device, you also have to be committed, but that's another story. We are assuming that you are already committed to this thing that you say you want to do, right? Let's move on to number two. Number two is that you are not clear about why it is you want to do what you say you want to do. And it's not even about being clear, it's about being really fucking clear. And now let me give you a story. So I have this kind of piggybacks off the previous story. The previous story was I wanted to find my purpose, right? And I said, I need to figure this thing out. I don't want to just be an NPC. I want to have to live with some purpose in my life and do work that means something. And I thought to myself, once I figure that out, that's going to be the first thing I do every morning. I'm going to get to work. I'm going to be like a mad scientist, like one of those crazy artists that just throws himself into their work. Or so I thought. My particular type of work, unless I'm actually telling the story like I am now, it's a lot of computer work. I'm sitting there a lot. I'm typing. I'm in my head a lot. It's actually quite heavy. So I decided one of the things that gives me so much energy and makes me feel alive and really elevates my chi, right? Elevates my frequency is singing and dancing. And so I said, okay, I'm going to get up every morning and I'm going to sing and dance in my apartment. And you know what? While I'm at it, why don't I go ahead and like broadcast it? Why don't I go live on YouTube or Instagram and inspire other people to move, right? So I'm explaining this to a friend who is not a very creative person, and that's okay. We're not all creative. She's very business-minded, very analytical. And now here's the thing. I'm explaining to her what I want to do, and she asked me the very important question. Why? She specifically was asking why I would broadcast it. And instead of answering her why, the mistake I made was answering the question, how? So I kept saying, I'm going to get up, I'm going to dance. I found this app where I can, DJ and whatnot. And then I'm going to run my camera. And I'm like explaining to her how it is I'm going to do it. But I realized after the fact, because I did get a little frustrated by the whole experience. And to be honest, because I wasn't clearly able to answer her question, I was getting frustrated and I felt like it was a shit idea. And so I almost dropped it. The next day I woke up and I was like, okay, I guess we're not doing that. Like, that's a shitty idea. Also because she said she is not the type of person that would get inspired by seeing other people do things online, which means she's not my target audience either. So I shouldn't have let it affect me so much. But the next day, I spoke to a friend who really understood what I was doing, and she was like, no, that's awesome. That makes total sense. But more importantly, I reflected on the situation and I realized that I wasn't answering the question, why I want to do something. And if you want to learn a little bit more about this, there's a book. It's called Start With Why. It's by Sinek, and I will try to remember to post the link in the description. There's a TED Talk about it as well. But the key point is that there are lots of people who can do the same thing that you want to do, and they can do it in a similar manner. They can do the how and they can do the what very similar to you. But the key differentiator is going to be your why. Why do you want to do it? And the why acts like an anchor. And now you see, because it's not even that I didn't have a strong enough why, it's that I hadn't practiced communicating my why enough that when I went to share this idea with somebody, I wasn't grounded. I wasn't anchored down in that why. And so I kind of like floated away with them. And again, I was going to drop this, and I think this is a pretty fucking good idea. Everybody's got to work out in the morning, right? I just prefer singing and dancing, you know? It's just, it gives me more energy. But again, I was going to stop from initiating that project because someone didn't understand it. And the reason they didn't understand it was because I wasn't clear about it, right? So you need to get clear about your why. You need to get really comfortable talking about it, especially if you're going to share the idea with someone, because they're going to ask you why, and they may ask you how and what and all that. But remember, the most important thing is the why. It's going to keep you coming back. And what I'm thinking about right now too is that when you initiate that project, you'll probably also hit some road bumps, right? Or roadblocks, whatever. You'll come to some obstacles, and what's going to keep you from just giving up is that you remember your why. So make it super strong. Okay? Let's move on to number 3. Let me get a sip of my drink. Okay, so number 3 is that you are too idealistic. Join the club. And the way you beat idealism, there are probably many different ways. One way that I'm working with it right now is just to start where I'm at. And I have a story. So like I said, I was searching for my purpose for a really long time. And when I finally found it, I had already built up a lot of professional experience in other fields. Like I taught yoga, did a lot of management before this, but I don't have a lot of commercial experience writing. So what am I doing? I'm writing online, I'm writing on my blog, I'm sharing some stuff on my Instagram, but not really mainly trying to do the blog and the YouTube and Pinterest, which lends itself a little better to people who are writers. And now recently at work, I got offered an opportunity to help out with marketing. And now that meant that I would have to work one more day a week than I was already working with my little princess 3 days a week shifts. And at first I almost said no. I actually, started off by talking to my manager and saying, I really wanted to start my YouTube channel this summer and really focus on that. And again, almost turned down this opportunity. Why? Because I want to tell stories here on my channels, right? But the truth is, I don't have nearly as many people subscribe to my channels as we do at work. We have thousands of people. And now we had more in the past, but we got shut down because we deal with a very gray area. If you don't know who I am or what I do, we're an organization that offers THC infused edibles and drinks, and we have a cute little cafe in Chicago and in the suburbs, and we're working on some other really cool projects. One is like a dream come true. So we lost a lot of followers. But again, we have a lot more, and now I'm seeing the shadows on my face. I hope that doesn't look creepy. But the point is that I almost turned down this opportunity to tell stories in front of thousands of people. And now I partake, and I'm also very artistic and creative. And so a lot of the stuff that I do, I think would be held in high regard, no pun intended, by people who partake, in the plant medicine that we sell. But again, I almost turned it down because I had an idea in my mind of what I thought my summer was going to be and where I think, I'm going to achieve success. Who knows? Maybe by getting a little commercial experience, telling stories for an actual organization and actually seeing all the analytics behind it, seeing all the engagement it gets, one, I get the experience. Okay, so maybe I may be able to collaborate with other businesses or brands in the future because I have not only my own personal experience, but because I have the professional commercial experience. And I'll get to see what sticks with people without necessarily having my face attached to it, right? Like I can kind of experiment, and if people like it, I'll give them more of that, and if they don't like it, I'll switch it up, right? So if you're thinking, hey, I work for a big corporation, we don't all work for a small business, one, I highly recommend, if you're a creative person, small businesses, medium-sized businesses are really where you can make an impact. I know you can't all go and change your job overnight, but I just love that you can have a say in what is happening, right? But if you don't have a business that you can just start, practicing your skills with, maybe you have a family member, maybe you have a friend, maybe you have a neighbor, somebody who owns their own business, or like I said, who works for a business that's small enough that you can get in there and say, hey, I'll make some flyers for you, or hey, I'll come in and coach your team for you, or whatever it may be, for you. So stop being so idealistic. I think the issue with idealism is that it's always like future oriented. It's always something better than this, right? And so going back to the previous statement that I said about when you are looking for something for so long and then you find it and you keep on looking because you built up all that momentum around that habit. Stop looking, stop expecting that there's going to be some ideal moment, some ideal organization, some ideal platform that's going to show up in the future for you to do the work you want to do. Start now, start where you're at. Okay? Yay! And now I'm going to give you a bonus, the 0.5 that I promised you in the beginning. It's really not 0.5, it's a whole 1.00. And I almost forgot about this one, but I thought about it just before I made the video. And it's really for me something that I'm really taking to heart going forward. And that is that I think too many of us right now are trying to be content creators. And what we really need to be is journalists. What we really need to do instead of creating is just documenting. And now this is something that Gary Vee used to say a lot, and now whether you agree with him or not, it's a really intelligent point. Just show people what you're working on. Just show people day by day. And over time, there are going to be people who resonate with your story, and there may even, hopefully be people who want to purchase whatever it is, whatever product or whatever service or whatever craft it is that you are working on. But I think we hold ourselves back and we want things to be perfect. And maybe we put out one piece of content per month or one per week or something like that, when every day we could be getting out here and connecting with other people around what it is that we're doing. And so that's really what I'm doing as I launch this series here of me just documenting with you. Notice how instead of just saying, hey, these are 3 points that I have for you, bam, 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 each one of those points that I gave you, even this one that I'm talking about now, have a story behind it from my actual everyday life. And it's recent. And it's okay if it's not recent, but I'm just saying all of this is happening to me in my life right now. And there are all these lessons that can be learned that I can't just keep inside, right? I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to you every day. I'm tired of needing everything to be perfect. And I hope that you see that. right? And I hope that just like I'm sharing with you all these lessons that are happening, that you start to share with other people, because I can almost guarantee you, whatever it is that you want to do, there's somebody who probably wants to do the same thing, if not something really similar, and they're frustrated as well. They've got obstacles, but if you share with them, then they can start moving along, right? That's really what this is about, is helping those people who are a little further behind and helping them move forward, right? And so I hope that this has helped you. I hope you got some value out of it. Like I said, I'm an amateur writer and storyteller. If you want to stick around and be part of my journey, there's going to be a newsletter sign up in the description. Subscribe if you're into that. And share with me what you guys are working on. And I challenge you to get started on something that you haven't already started on, and come back here. Send me the link, or my email is going to be below as well. Email it to me, like connect with me, because I know this is a very challenging part of the road to be on, and I feel like I haven't completely overcome it. It is kind of like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back thing, but I'm hoping that by having a community here that I can connect with, that it's going to give me the impetus to just only steps forward, no steps back, right? So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, connect with me down below in the comments. Bye.